Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Prowess Goes Live. Y'all, I am so excited about today's topic because we have had so many people ask us about this, but in completely different ways. Today, we're talking all about if you are making a career pivot to be an online business manager, what do you need to know? I'm going to repeat. If you are making a career pivot to being an online business manager, what do you need to know? As always, to get things kicked off, we have a starter question, so put it into chat. Starter question today is, what is your favorite Disney movie? Put it into chat. Let's hear it. Bonus points if you give us why. Bonus points if you give us why. Moana. So good. Oh, we have a lot of Moana going on in our house right now, but even more Encanto. So my favorite is definitely Encanto. It gives me 2 hours of peace and quiet while my daughter watches that on the weekends. Beauty and the Beast. Yes, Mary Poppins. I wish I had her bag. I think about that all the time. Like, especially with a kid now, that never-ending bag. Beauty and the Beast. Yes. Oh, I've never. Oh, Book Nerd. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Brother Bear. I've never heard of that one. Leah, don't think you're getting out of this. What's your favorite Disney movie? Hercules. Oh, that's my husband's. Encanto, yes, Daphne. It does put a smile on my face. We are constantly singing Encanto songs at my house. Constantly. Frozen. Oh, good one. Good one. Good one. Moana. Yep, we got 2 for Moana. Y'all, I love this. I love this. I love this. All right. Well, thank you for starting with us with this awesome first question, just to get everyone excited and in the chat. Throughout what we're talking about today, please continue to use the chat. If you like what we're saying, give me a thumbs up. If you have questions, type it in there. If you're like, give me a heck yes, a heck no, type it in there. We want to interact with you as much as possible. So for all of our newbies, because I'm seeing a lot of names in there, which I freaking love. I'm Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project. Who is Prowess Project? What do we do? We help mainly women who are pivoting in their career or returning to work from a break caregiving become online business managers. What an OBM is a cross between a CEO, so they think very strategically about businesses, but they also do the execution of a VA. So they're kind of that middle ground. From there, we match them up with the CEOs who need that right-hand woman to really scale their business. So, I'm sorry, Hocus Pocus. I don't know if that is a Disney movie, but probably the best movie of all times. Yes, it is epic. I love it. Yes. So again, we train online business managers and match them with their ideal CEOs. So again, today we are talking all about making that career pivot. A lot of you have just heard about what an online business manager, but based on the description of what it is, you're like, oh, I think this is me. So let's talk about what it really takes, what you need to know in order to pivot to make sure being an OBM is right for you. So what I want you to think about first is this you? Do you have a genuine interest in the following? And so if you are new to what being an online business manager is, when I start describing all of these different things that you could have interest in, what you need to be asking yourself is, does this excite me? Does this excite me? If it does, put it in the chat. Say blank excite me. I heard this. Love it, love it, love it. I want to know. If you are not new to being an OBM and you're already building your OBM business, I want you to be thinking, on my next consultation call, how am I going to highlight these different traits so that the CEO knows that I can do this in spades? Because guess what, guys? This is what CEOs want in their OBMs. How do I know that? Because I speak to well over 5 of them a week. I was just on a call with about 20 of them, and they were all talking about different operations needs that they had. So this is something that not just we made up that OBMs should go do. These are things that we're getting asked for from CEOs who need OBMs. So if this is you, does this sound like you? You love systems. You are that person where you look at that like jumble of everything and you're like, oh, we can make this way easier if you just do this, and this. My husband says this to me all the time. He's like, Ashley, we could be way more efficient in our household operations if you just did. And I'm like, bro, my brain doesn't think like that. Luckily, I have Leah Steinkirk and him because his brain does think like that. But if you love that, the plans, the efficiencies, the processes, put that into chat. That is you. If that excites you, you're already on your way. Okay. Next, if you are a utility player, that means that in previous experiences, companies, businesses, etc., anything someone throws at you, you'll take on. And you're basically that CEO's person where, oh, there's an issue in finance and they put you there to figure it out. Oh, there's an issue in HR and like, hey, can you go smoothen out this process? Hey, sales, like listen on these sales calls and see if we should be doing something differently. If that is you, does that make you excited? And another way to look at that is if you have been this utility player, do you get energy from that variety of different tasks, or is it draining to you? So be thinking about it like that. So we talked about systems. We talked about utility player. Next, do you love technology? Do you love technology? Are you that person who loves automation? Like what tool is coming up that you can add to this to make your life easier? And when I say technology and automation, I don't mean that you're already some tech whiz. I don't mean that you already know how to use all the different softwares out there. I just mean that you're excited about them. The fact that you are willing to learn them. Like, are you the person when someone rolls out a new software, you're like, oh, I'm going to be that early adopter and I'm going to get on that as soon as possible? Me, I am not. Leah has to drag me kicking and screaming to use every new software. So again, not quite me, but I love that other people love that tech and that automation. So next, problem solving. When there is a problem, do you come to that problem with pure curiosity? Pure curiosity that really brings a level of calm to the problem. And therefore, because you are calm, you are able to think through the problem and untangle that mess and untangle whatever the issue is, and then create that solution and then tell other people about the solution, how you're going to roll it out. Is that you? Those are the 4 things that you really, really should be thinking about if, hey, being an OBM is for you. Now, as always, I am the visionary in the group, the big thinker. Not that Leah's not a big thinker. She's probably a bigger thinker than me, but I'm the one who wants to go out and talk about it, make relationships, all those things. Leah is the true integrator, get shit done process, all of this. So I'm going to bring her up. Hello, Leah, to talk more about these 4 different things. Does that excite you?
Actually, I love the way that you phrase all of this. And one thing that popped into my head is one time you and I were talking about tangled jewelry. And I said that if I told my kids one time, if you want to give me a Christmas present, just give me a box of like all the necklaces tied, like they're all knotted and stuff. And Ashley's like, I just take that and throw in the garbage. But to me, like that's the way my brain works, is let me get in there and figure out that problem. So, and I think when I'm talking to OBMs, whether they are just getting started or currently doing their business, sometimes we do all of these things and we can switch gears that we forget that this is like our talent, right? Like this is, so I love that you're talking about no matter where you are in the process, whether these are skills that you're going to bring into this or you're currently doing it, continually reminding yourself that these are my strengths. And so another way that I think about this is if you've ever said these things, like if you've been the person in your office and you've said something like, no, I haven't done that, but let me go figure it out and I'll come back to you. Like that's a lot of times like what naturally just comes out of our mouth. Or the new software comes out and they say, have you ever used this? Or you're in that consultation call, have you ever done this? And what comes out is, no, but this just looks just like the thing that I use for X, Y, and Z company. Let me reflect on that and then spend some time with it and I'll get back to you with an action plan, right? Like it's just our instinct to be that helper and lean forward in that, because we can see it and those wheels start turning even though we've never touched it before. So if that's something that you said, you're probably on this path. Or the phrase, I know enough to be dangerous. Because I've caught myself in that one, whether it is coding stuff, like I'm not a coder, but could I, if you need me to fix something, my natural instinct is to lean into it and be like, I know enough about this that I could probably get in there. And if I don't know, I'm pretty sure I know the person to go ask, right? So those are just another way to think about it, is that whether you're new to this or you are an OBM, these are still things. If you have this mindset, right? I would say this is 75, 90% of it is if you have the right mindset, then this is you. And you should be bringing these things up, especially if you are talking to a future client, of saying, this is how I think, this is how I process things, this is what I like to do. That's where they're going to, like when Ashley's talking about the calm in the storm, that's what they're looking for. So.
Yes, Leah. Real quick on the necklaces. I was speaking to a community yesterday and I was talking to their CEO and I brought up the necklaces thing and how I would throw them away and that would be your like Super Bowl. And she said, Ashley, you will never believe this. I was with my OBM on at a conference or something. She opens up her jewelry case. All of her necklaces were all over the place. And her OBM was like, can I see that? And she goes, do you know about the straw trick? I didn't know about the straw trick. Apparently for each necklace, you put a straw in it, or like put it in the straw, and that like keeps them all organized. Mm-hmm. We literally just had this conversation. So glad you brought that up. So good. So good. So good.
One of our future many businesses that we'll have is like organizing. I want to own a company where it's about bags and compartments and things that you organize. Like anyway.
I love it. I love it. I will only market that business. I don't think I have any part of being in anything organized whatsoever. But okay, so we talked about, do these things excite you? Do these skills, these opportunities excite you? So now let's talk about different ways that how you feel when you are presented a problem, a project, a opportunity. If you feel these ways, then you are setting yourself up to be a good online business manager. First, you are comfortable with being uncomfortable. And this one like kind of makes my skin crawl, but I have been uncomfortable for the first 4 years of building Prowess Project. So at this point, I am completely comfortable with being uncomfortable. But this kind of goes back to that calm, like during the problem, like, hey, I'm uncomfortable, but that's okay because I am working through it. So that's one. If you can really embrace that, you will make a good OBM. Also, if you are nervous about something, if you're nervous about an opportunity, you're nervous about taking on a problem, oftentimes that's a really good thing for an OBM. That means that you care. That means you're going to take the time and actually problem solve, think about it, strategize. You're going to use the critical thinking, not going to just like phone it in, not just give the easy solution now, not thinking about how this is going to affect the business 1, 3, 4 months down the line, if not 1, 3, 4 years down the line. So I just want you all to remember, being nervous can be a really good thing. It means you care. Leah, anything else about how they should feel and how that relates to being a good OBM?
Well, I'm a big fan of like the rephrasing, right? So I think sometimes in this nervousness, this kind of overthinking it, what you are is a critical thinker. You are already seeing all those pieces in the puzzle of how, like Ashley's saying, like how this is going to impact the business down the line. So it is a skill and it is a great thing to have. And so again, it is something that you can lean forward into when you're talking to a future client of, I love lists because it manages this part of my brain that is constantly thinking of what if, right? Like that's why we create amazing SOPs and why all of the checklists and why we love all of the technology that can make it more efficient, because it's like being able to take all those thoughts that keep me up at 2:00 in the morning and I can put them somewhere so I know it's getting taken care of. So yes, I think that if you are you're comfortable being uncomfortable, it's such an amazing thing. And then I also just want to touch on what I hear a lot of times is we're so great at doing this for other people, right? But then it comes to our own business and we think, now I've got to go, if I'm going to be an OBM and I have my own business, I've got to go out and get clients. But so I want to remind you that you can do this. And it's not really about being uncomfortable with them. It's just you need to find your process. And you've done it for so many other people. You know you have the skills and you can do it for yourself. So I think that the trade-off is you stay in something that doesn't light you up. It's rote, it's boring because it's not feeding all of these different parts of you. And so there's the choice, really. Are you going to stay uncomfortable and bored and miserable? Or are you going to take all of this and these tiny ideas that create the spark of energy and keep that going?
I love that so much. Oh my gosh.
These are the lectures I also give my children. So,
and that she gives me. So.
I do.
Your third child. I love it. Okay, so we talked about in pivoting in your career. First, the different skills. Does that make you excited? Do you have genuine interest in those different skills? Then we were talking about the way you are approaching a problem, how it makes you feel. If you feel these different things, that is a good indicator that you are on the right path to being an online business manager. And then the third thing that we want to talk about today is how to position. If you need help positioning, how you, with all of your amazing background and all your amazing skills and all your amazing emotional intelligence, how are you going to position it as an online business manager? And oftentimes when we think about that, thinking about past skills that we have and how we're going to apply it, the first thing that comes to mind is transferable skills, right? Hey, I had this, so because I could do this, I could use this in a different context, but really it's doing the same thing. The thing about transferable skills, and Leah was so astute when she brought this up to me, was when you're thinking about transferable skills, typically you're thinking about that because you're answering a question to validate your skills, right? So you're thinking like, okay, when someone asks me, hey, I've never been an OBM before, but I have worked in operations, like, okay, I can apply that. So that's always being on the reactive, on the defense based on your transferable skills. But I want to turn that on its head. I was listening to this absolutely amazing podcast episode. It was A Diary of a CEO, and he used a different term. Instead of transferable skills, it was called skill stacking. And instead of transferable skills being something that is reactive and how you answer and validate that you belong there, it was taking your transferable skills, your skill stacking, and using that to design and strategize your niche, your purpose, your value, your superpower for a specific group. And this was his example. So his example was his background was in investment banking. And so he was helping companies buy and sell and merge businesses. So he was deep into those financials, right? But he had a genuine interest in marketing and social media and helping different campaigns go viral. And so he was thinking about these two very different skills, right? And he was like, what can I do with these? And so the obvious answer was, oh, okay, I could go work at a like tech company that is maybe in the financial services space, and I could be a marketer for that type of business. Like, yes, that's absolutely something that he could do. And he was like, so that was one option. Or he was like, what do I have that other people don't? What do I have that other people don't? And he decided to position himself as a consultant to go after businesses who were about to IPO and help them figure out their marketing, help them figure out how they were going to increase the value of and the value of their brand, so that when they did IPO, they would have a higher IPO price, because there is this urgency around the IPO and they need to get the marketing and the brand more and more valuable at that time. Do you see how the two differences in, hey, I can go be a part of a marketing team for a financial tech company is different than I am going to go be a consultant for companies who are about to IPO because I have specialized knowledge to help them increase their valuation? That latter one, he can charge way, way, way more. So it wasn't transferable skills. I mean, it was, but he didn't think about it like that. He was thinking about it as skill stacking. I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely. When you were talking about this morning, my head exploded, because that idea, like transferable skills, like you said, the word validating, again, I can be very comfortable in that space. I've done that. But this to me is an example of how we can showcase our value. I talk in metaphors a lot of times, that especially, I mean, Ashley, you've noticed, like I'll try and figure out some example of why, right? Something that it relates to when we're working with technology. And that's what this to me is you're creating a metaphor for that future client of yours to understand how you see all of the issues that is in their business. And this is how you're going to apply those skills, right? It's, to me, it's so much more proactive, but uplifting and empowering for that OBM.
Absolutely. And I'm really, really excited to take more of that skill stacking thinking and give all of you different examples of how you can be thinking about that. I definitely want to do that next week in our free masterclass. We're doing a 5-day masterclass. It is the OBM opportunity. You're going to walk away with, hey, what is an OBM? Who is your client? You're going to meet some. How do I get clients? That whole shebang. And I really want to be thinking about that skill stacking and how do we use all of our transferable skills to create the best offer, the most lucrative offer, the most value, because you do have so much to bring. So quick recap of today on thinking through your pivot to be an online business manager. We talked about the different skills that you need to be an OBM that we hear from CEOs all the time that they need. If those make you excited, be at that masterclass next week. We talked about those feelings. If you have an opportunity and you have a problem in front of you or a situation, and you can get to a place where you feel comfortable with being uncomfortable, if you can get to a place where you're feeling nervous, come to the session next week. If you know you have all these transferable skills, but you want to figure out a way to make them work for you and be strategic around that, and you think that being an online business manager can help you get there in that skill stacking, come to our masterclass next week. So thank you. Today has been awesome. We have 6 minutes left. Do we have any questions from the audience? Any takeaways, any ahas? I am all ears. All ears. Also, that's my dog snoring. Any questions, any comments, any excitement? Was this helpful? Did the skill stacking make you think like it did me? Oh, good. so excited about the masterclass. We are too.
Ashley, can I a note on the skill stacking? I think this is a great example of someone who brought their values, like what they want to be doing, not just their skills, but our skills are often tied in with the values of what we want to be doing with our life. And we have seen stories that you're telling me work with clients being matched up with OBMs. When they start to speak in that, their passions, their values, things that they feel like they're external to what we're listing on a resume, but that is really what got them in alignment and helping them find those ideal customers, right? Because it should be both sides. You should be their ideal OBM, but they should be our ideal customers. So I think that the value part of skill stacking too is so important.
I love that. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I think oftentimes we disregard that, the values, like in it's interesting because of the CEOs that I've been speaking to lately. They are choosing the OBMs who can not only show their value, but also, I'm talking about values in two ways, show their value, but also have these same shared values that they do. So there's something there. Maybe that's, in a couple of weeks that we talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And yes, Lori, I am pumped to share with you on how to find clients. Come on day 4. So next week on Thursday of our masterclass, that's exactly what we're talking about. Love it. So someone shared that they have the efficiency skills, they have the operation skills, but they don't necessarily have the business knowledge. Girl, do you think I have the business knowledge? Do you think Leah woke up, was born and had the business knowledge? No, all of this is completely learnable. Is that a word? Like you can learn all of it. I got a ton of mentors. I took courses. I did a lot of deep dives on YouTubes and podcasts. I'm always listening to a business podcast. Always. You can find that. You can make all of that happen. We'll talk about that next week too. You got this. You got this. You got this.
Yep. I love the idea of almost like reverse engineering it when you know where you want to be. Like if you, right, who do you want to give that efficiency to? What would they need? And then start backtracking into the courses or whatever it is, because they're there. They're out there.
Oh, love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And that's the link again, if y'all want to attend next week. But if you don't have any other questions, I'm getting on the phone with the AC man because our AC is out again. So with that, everyone, have a lovely day. Have a cooler day than I do. Okay. Bye, y'all. See you next week.